It's a right hand lead by Maidana that sticks. Another right hand. Stroller goes down for the first time in his career.
More than 2 minutes to go in this round. Anthony Joshua is a composed and ferocious finisher. Watch this.
21 knockouts in 21 wins for Anthony Joshua. The chance with the right hand. Ruiz is staggered and an uppercut, trying to hold on. Strafing right. Ruiz comes to fire back, and Joshua's hurt. Joshua goes down. Andy Ruiz caught him with a sharp left hook. Joshua's hurt.
To evade.
Down goes Young on a thunderous left hook.
And that is the vaulting power that we're talking about. Nonito Donaire at this weight class, 118 pounds. Everybody better watch out.
Who the fuck is he talking about?
Oh, great shot from Fury. Terrific right hand.
Oh, and down he goes! Right hand, left hand! And I don't think he's going to get up! I think it's all over! I think it's over! Is he going to get up? Can he get up? Can he get up? He does! Oh my goodness! Somehow Fury has managed to get up!
Contract's been signed for February 22nd. Agree, or you will have a lawsuit on your head. You little maggot!
Another 1-2.
Look at Mayorga. Fight's on. Let me tell you, Mayorga, this gets Mayorga into it. He just let him hit him a left hand. Look at him.
Right hand. And look at Mayorga.
Oh, wait a minute. Wow, their hip pressing so hard. They are feeling it in Brazil. Mamma mia. What a KO.
He clearly landed more power shots, and if Triple G didn't have the chin of God, he would have been knocked the fuck out.
I tell you what, he could have knocked out a racehorse with that left hook.
Right hand up one, and he has to come behind the jab, to get close.
Oh! One punch knockdown. What a shot by the young star. This fight is over.
Fantastic fitness levels here from Ruiz-Whyte here in his last round. Bowman, firing shot. That's it. 15-12 punch combination for Buckland Davies.
Terrific action in the last round, just like there was in the first three.
I feel like you just fucking me with no Vaseline.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up, MCR family? Another daily edition of the show live on YouTube, obviously podcast from iTunes, Spotify, radio, etc. I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. And sorry for the tech issues. Again, the internet's going to get fixed tomorrow. Frontier's coming out, getting a new router, all that fun shit. So no camera for Rob and Gary today, but we do have a full fucking panel. Minus Foo, but I mean, come on, it's Foo. He's off playing, Apex Legends? Who cares? Nerd. But digressing, let's get to a lot of boxing topics today because we were off for a couple days and news just piled up. And plus, we have obviously the fights coming up this weekend, which we're going to break down, and a lot to get to. Plus, Wilder Fury 2 press conference and some tea I think I might spill on a lot of bullshit I saw in that presser, but a lot to talk about on today's show. And I'm joined, as usual, by the lovely, the one and only Rob in the UK, Robbie Hearns. What's up, Rob?
Yeah, I'm just going to sit here and pick my nose and scratch my ass. If no one can see,
no one can see you. You can do whatever you want, Rob.
It was funny because you're like looking completely the other way, like you're on the normal. It's funny. It's just throwing me off big time. But yeah, how's everybody doing? Hit that thumbs up, share the show. Don't listen to Gary in the chat telling everybody it's my fault. For a good portion of sitting in this room, I was on my own, waiting.
That is true. It was mainly my fault, sprinkled in with some Gary.
Yeah, I'm here. Great internet, looking good. Doesn't matter. No one can tell. But yeah, let's get on with the show. There's a whole bunch of news. So yeah,
looking good, being relative. Gary in Dallas, what's up?
You wish you were my relative.
I was having Santiago asked who would win, Michael Moore or Michael Spinks in a light heavyweight scrap. And I said Spinks, but that's a good one. But Spinks is one of the most underrated fighters ever. Michael Spinks, that is. Not Leon Spinks. Leon Spinks was trash. And guys, this might be unpopular, but it's not tough. Pernell Whitaker at 147 schools Sugar Ray Leonard. Just it is what it is.
Gary, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Pernell Whitaker, Sweet Pea.
Okay. Yes, him.
At
Yes.
147.
Yes.
School Sugar Ray Leonard.
Gary, I'm going to give you a hint. When you answer questions from the chat, it's useful for our podcast audience for you to say the question from the chat. Just saying. But anyways, guys, let's get into the show because we have a lot to get to. And also, I did not decide before the show started. What do you want to do first, news or fights, guys? Do you want to break down fights first, or do you want to get to news, rumors, gossip, all that fun stuff? What do you want to do?
There's fights.
Yes.
Is there fights?
Yes, there are 3 televised fight cards in the U.S. this weekend.
One of them being Conor McGregor.
No. I'm not including MMA. The one, 3 boxing televised cards.
Matt, is this guy that Conor McGregor fighting? Is he from Texas?
No, he's from Colorado.
So why do they have a lone star behind?
Do not get me started.
He's the cowboy, right? He's the cowboy.
He is. So that means Texas, obviously, for the UFC marketing department.
Yeah, but
have you seen? Hold on. Have you seen the poster where they're like, it's the cutoff where like they're like posed together, but they're uneven? Have you seen that? Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. Rob, you can make a better poster, guaranteed.
I can do everything better. I can make better intros for them as well. Definitely. No, it's only like Danny Garcia and Redcatch and shit like that, right?
No, that's a few weeks from now. Now we have J-Rock and Jason Rosario. We have Lopi Hop versus Jezreel Corrales. Also, we have the Elio Alvarez versus Michael Seals card.
Yeah, let's do news then.
Okay.
Good choice, Rob.
This is going to be such a fun show. I can feel it already, guys. The green room, we were just full of bants. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great show. I can feel it. Let's get to the news of the day. Eddie Hearn. Actually, first, do you want to talk about the Wilder Fury press conference that was yesterday? Again, check out my Media Scrum interviews with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. The Tyson Fury one I thought was a little bit better because I got to ask him questions. The Wilder one, I almost got beat up by one of the ESPN fucking camera guys, and that was just a big deal. But digressing from that, guys, thoughts on that press conference that was on Monday just a couple days ago? I know it's a couple days removed, but thoughts on it since that's the start of really the big fight of the first quarter of 2020, right? Like that's the only big fight on the horizon that I can think of. And thoughts on the build up the press conference so far?
For me, waste of money, waste of time. It was, I don't know, they didn't sell it. I don't know. I think both fighters have started camp and it was, I don't know, just late doing it. Catch them before they go into camp, trying to sell the thing. I know Fury said this, we don't need to sell this. It's the biggest fight since fucking Lewis and Mike Tyson or whatever. Which I guess to a point, he's kind of right. You don't have to, but you do have to sell it.
That pissed me off so much when he said that. I hate when fighters say, I want to sell this fight. It's so good. It's like, nope. We know it's good, right? But
yeah. But the other 1.9 million that Bob Arum thinks he's going to buy it, they need some hype. You know what I mean? I don't care how many ads they do on fucking Super Bowl and shit like that. If you get these guys maybe pushing and shoving and all the name calling and the banter and stuff that we had the first time around with ESPN and Fox having coverage of it and putting it everywhere and social media, and then it spills over into like if you follow newspapers on Twitter and if you follow different outlets, it starts getting everywhere and the hype builds, but they just didn't really sell it for me. It was a bit of a letdown in my opinion.
I largely agree. Gary, thoughts on the opening press conference for the promotion and build up for Wilder Fury 2?
Look, I thought it was largely silly, and I think the timing was silly, but ESPN and PBC both covered it, so it got covered. So like any publicity is good publicity. So like, I mean, me, Rob, you, us, everyone listening to the show is going to watch the fight regardless, but it's reaching a wider audience, which I think is good.
I mean, of course it's reaching a wider audience than the first one. The first one was on Showtime, and that's just it, just Showtime. This is a ESPN and Fox co-network production. Of course, there's more eyeballs. Of course, the the audience base is just automatically far bigger and exponentially bigger than Showtime's. I don't think anyone's disputing that, Gary, but I think what the dispute is that you have this massive audience growth in terms of who can be watching it, the networks that are pushing it, and their subscriber base and their sort of its overall viewership base, and they kind of laid a goose egg, to be honest. Like, there was no real quotables from the event that I thought of. Like Rob said, there's no push, there's no shove, there's no actual animosity. To be honest, they looked more like friends than anything else. I mean, they were shaking hands, they were hugging. Like, I'll be honest, I thought the animosity was completely gone from the first fight. If there was any, and I don't think there was any to begin with, but at least they faked it in the first fight. I think that's maybe the criticism of, did this press conference do what it needed to do? Of course, it was in front of the people it needed to be in front of, but did it do what it needed to do? That's a different argument. That's a separate argument.
Last time there was like, who won the first one? Who won the second? It's like, oh, it's 3-0 to Fury, or you had it 2-1 or something. This is like people. I don't know. I haven't seen who won the press conference.
No, I don't think it was a press conference that they won. I'm just saying, okay, the first fight, I think there was animosity, right? Because I remember Wilder got underneath his skin. Because Fury was obsessed with beating Klitschko. Like, that was his life's goal. And Wilder said something so long ago, like, he beat up a washed-up champion who had already been knocked out 2 times. And, like, that win doesn't even count, so he was a paper champion. And you can see, like, that really got underneath Fury's skin because you just degraded his life's work, right? I think after you have a great fight like you do the first time, and you go to war like they did, especially in that 12th round, you have a natural mutual respect for each other. You know what I'm saying? I think that animosity is gone. It's been replaced by a mutual respect. Like, Wilder understands how good Fury is, and Fury understands firsthand how good Wilder's power is. Like, I think the hostility is gone.
No one's disputing that, Gary. I think, but mutual respect doesn't sell prize fights.
Fair enough.
I mean, let's just be honest here. Think of the biggest prize fights in history. Mutual respect has not been the prime selling point of those mega fights. It's usually, I fucking hate this guy, so we're gonna fight. We're gonna duke it out. And we're gonna find out who wins out this hatred, this battle, this rivalry. And
when you're trying to get people to part with $75, and they're not sat at home going, "Oh, look at these two guys." Just respecting each other. I can't wait to watch these guys go at it again, full of admiration for each other. You know, you want to be like rooting for your guy, or you can't wait to see which guy's shit talking prevails and they're gonna like settle it off in the ring and stuff. But I don't know. There wasn't even a like mini moment or flashpoint. The only thing from this was Wilder said he's going to do a WWE move off the top rope, a flying elbow kick. So,
well, that's possible, right? Come on,
that's the new secret punch he's been working on, right? The flying elbow kick, and that. But yeah, it was poor. For me, Fury didn't seem like really up for the banter, like really trying to get under Wilder's skin and get in his head. Wilder seemed more like, I'm just going to let him talk. I'm not going to.
Yeah, Wilder was definitely playing off of Fury and what he was doing first. And like you said, Fury like almost even seemed like he wanted to be there.
No,
like when I was interviewing him, like all of his answers were super short. All of his answers were super stunted, and I don't know what that was. To be honest, it felt like a fighter that was like fight week and cutting weight. Like that felt like the vibe of the interview when he's a heavyweight that's outside of fight week. You know, it was weird.
You get very different Furies at very different times, I think.
But then again, like this wasn't really, I think, you can't really tell maybe when you're watching the media scrum interviews on Fight Hype or whatever, our channel, whatever it may be. But the planning and organization of those scrums was a complete and utter clusterfuck. You know, first off, there's only... What they wanted to do was have one fighter stay on stage and one fighter stay or go down towards like the seats where we were, and the fighters just move and have the 30, 40 different media members that were there, maybe even more than that, probably more like 100. They don't have to move. But the problem is that they only split up. They had 2 fighters, right? And they had TV go to Fury and print go to Wilder, and you had the majority of media there be digital media, not know what the fuck to do. And so you had Seconds Out, you had Behind the Gloves, you had Ring Magazine, though it was more the Ring TV, right, the digital side with Cynthia Conti. Mm-hmm. They all didn't know what to do. So you had Kelly Swanson, you had Tim Smith of PBC, you had whoever was ESPN's PR and Tyson Fury's PR. I don't recognize them. I do kind of recognize ESPN's PR guy. I just forget his name. And they were bickering and yelling at each other. It was a complete clusterfuck. We had TV guys fighting digital media guys. Oh, it was just fantastic. Kelly Swanson yelling at me. Radio Raheem yelling at Kelly Swanson. Oh, it was fantastic. Just a thunderdome of fucking chaos. And Regis Prograis just like slinking around the bullshit. Collecting interviews and then bouncing, man. It was hilarious.
Can we get into that? Because I've met Radio Raheem. He seems like a likable guy, like a guy no one can dislike. Foo said that's not really the case. Now he's yelling at Kelly Swanson. Can we, like, what triggered him and what was he saying to Kelly Swanson in particular?
Gary wants that tea.
I kind of want the scoop on this.
Spill the tea.
It was, we were all told at the very jump, everyone, print, TV, and digital, no one-on-ones. And on top of it, we had a very small window to do interviews. I think the press conference got done around like 2:50, right? Pacific Standard Time, right? You got like 45-minute press conference and started a little bit late. And we had to be out of there by 3:45. So we only had an hour to like get interviews, and there's 100 media members there that all want their scoop, all want their exclusive. And you have the big channels like Seconds Out, like Behind the Gloves, like Ring Magazine, that are accustomed to getting run-on-ones and that access. So it was a constant battle and yelling match between who was getting access, who was getting time. And for some people, I'm not going to name names because it wasn't Radio Raheem, so that's why I'm not going to name names. They were like on the clock where they could only get maybe a 5-minute interview, and they were pushed back to like the third wave of digital media jumping on the stage. It was just a clusterfuck. And I think that Radio Raheem, I didn't hear everything, but he was yelling at Kelly Swanson for that reason. You told me to be here, now I'm over here, like, what the fuck's happening? Sort of that conversation. And everyone was frustrated. Everyone was upset.
I mean, Radio Raheem ended up walking with him to get his kind of one-on-one. He was like walking out the back with him and shit.
Yeah. And on top of it,
like perfect synergy.
Hold on. One more piece of tea, Rob, because I think you're about to jump into it, but I need to set the table. Especially there was beef and hostility between ESPN's PR group and Tyson Fury's PR group and Wilder and PBC's. A lot of bickering back and forth, and like Rob said, a lot of synergy between these two networks and groups, and I cannot wait for that Spence Crawford fight to get made, because that's obviously going to happen next.
Yeah, right. Oh dear. But yeah, I don't know.
Big pressures,
a waste of time, in my opinion.
Big pressures like that are often clusterfucks, though. Like Mayweather McGregor was like that. I'm trying to think of some other big ones I've been to. Thurman Garcia was like that, where it was just crazy. There was 150 media people there, all trying to get an exclusive, and you don't have that much time in a certain venue to do all these exclusives that everyone wants a 30-minute interview. It doesn't happen. It's rather unfortunate. I mean, fuck, I only got 4 minutes of content with Tyson Fury. Like, think about it. That's the amount of time I was able to get an interview with him. That's how short the interview was and how many questions we had and the 30 people that was there trying to ask him questions. No, that was, okay, you're done. Boom. We had 4 minutes and some odd seconds. Wilder, they kept trying to cut him off because they're trying to kick us out of the building, but it's Wilder, so you just kept talking. So at least we got
one question.
Yeah, so at least we got more time with him at least. But fuck, man, that ESPN camera guy, I think it was ESPN camera guy, he fucking, with his big $100,000 camera rig, came and just smashed my fucking shit, right? Because I was prime seating for Wilder because it was right in the switch between Fury and Wilder. And this motherfucker just came in and swiped my shit. Okay, I elbowed him in the gut. He gave me that dirty look. And then the swarm came in, because that was the last 5 minutes we had to interview someone. So everyone jumped on the stage. I got pushed back. That ESPN guy had a camera rig bag behind him where you can fuck with the audio and shit. I put all my weight on that bag and put my camera above him just to fuck with him.
You should have fucked with his audio.
I was like, if it wasn't like an official TV network that he was representing, I 100% would have. 100%.
Anyway, you elbow him back. What's he getting pissed about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
because he's TV. Look, like he's TV. I'm a guy with the fucking digital camera rig. Like it's a different setup. Obviously, I have a $1,000 rig.
Human rights.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't give you some entitlement.
Camera than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna
but look, in the context of that presser, guys, you have to remember TV did get higher priority than digital. So of course the TV guy thought, "Fuck this digital media guy."
Yeah, but it's not the keys to the city. It doesn't absolve you from
I understand,
crime.
Rob. The crime. Like Neil with the water all over again, man. It's crimes.
Yeah. You should have thrown water at it.
I don't care if you're with ESPN. I don't care if you're Walt Disney himself. Like, you're not gonna knock me over like I'm a peasant.
Look, Gary, I'm 130 pounds. Dude had a $100,000 camera rig. I'm not breaking that shit and having ESPN send me the check. No, fuck no, man. No.
Fair enough.
But they broke your camera, right, Matt?
No, they fucking scratched it up a little bit. I'll be honest.
They like broke your camera though, right, Matt?
Right, Matt? And they broke your neck too, right?
Yeah.
You can't move.
Yeah, stop moving. Stop moving right now. Play the game, Matt.
You're right. I turned it down. I should put the Neymar, man. Damn it.
Yeah, you should have rolled and rolled and rolled.
Anyways, guys, we've been talking bullshit for 20 minutes now. Let's get to the news of the day.
Yeah, let's do some more bullshit.
Do some more bullshit. Speaking of potential bullshit, because like I don't think this really happens, but sources, Mike Carpenter, saying Eddie Hearn made a 7-figure offer to Andy Ruiz Jr. For the fight for a fight with Dylan White to be staged March 28th or April in the UK on DAZN. Ruiz, of course, lost his heavyweight championship to Anthony Joshua in December. White beat Maurice Vach on the undercard. And today, via Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn and Dylan White came out the video saying we've made Andy Ruiz an offer. I'm not going to play the video due to my own tech issues right now.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the system crashing. But thoughts, guys, on Eddie Hearn offering Andy Ruiz a 7-figure offer for a Dylan White fight in March or April in the UK. Rob, I'll go to you first since you are, the UK beat guy.
Yeah, I mean, I like that the offer's been made. I like that Eddie's throwing something out there for Andy, but I don't think Andy is in a position right now to take that offer. There's still question marks whether he's even been in contact with Manny Robles since losing his belts. Even though in the press conference he put his hand around Manny and said, I'm sorry, man, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'll show you in camp next fight, blah, blah, blah. But he hasn't even been in touch with the guy. Andy Ruiz went live the other day on IG, and he was in the middle of a modeling photo shoot. And I don't know what he was exactly modeling, but I didn't want to buy one. So yeah, I think it's still going to be Povetkin for White, but I like that. A lot of people don't like, by the way, that Eddie has made this offer, and I'm sure you can imagine which set of people don't like it. But yeah, no, if it could come off, I think it's a really good fight. I think in the contract they should both have to come in the weight they came in for their last fights. I think that would make it even extra special.
Oh my God, no! Please not! Please not!
Completely blown out of shape White versus 190 pound, 290 pound Andy Ruiz. That'd be fantastic.
That'd be awful.
But no, I still think we'll be looking at Dillian White versus Povetkin in March.
I largely agree with you, Gary. Thoughts on this offer from Eddie Hearn to Andy Ruiz for Dylan White?
Geez, I think. In today's market, Andy Ruiz is a 7-figure fighter. He is. He's a star. I think that the offer is real. I think that he's going to entertain it. I don't know if it gets made. I don't know where Andy Ruiz is mentally, if he wants to get back in the ring, if he wants to be a movie star, if he wants to be a celebrity. But the offer's legitimate. The fight's legitimate. I think he wins the fight if he's motivated. I don't know, like that's like a big if. I mean, do you guys think he wins? Do you think Ruiz has a good chance to win the fight?
Motivated Ruiz that's in shape? Yeah, that's relatively in shape. Yeah, of course. I think he does. Absolutely. I think that's an even fight. But I will say this. Two things. One thing that you point out that I want to add to it, the idea that Ruiz in this market is a 7-figure fighter, period. Like, full stop. Like, it doesn't matter almost like who he's matched with in the top 15, who he's aligned with. He's probably getting a 7-figure check at the end of the day. So he doesn't need Eddie Hearn's offer or Dylan White to make this check, in my opinion. I want to add that too. I think that's a key factor to look at it going forward. Also, I don't really think we should expect this type of matchup. I mean, first off, it's not common to see a guy coming off a huge loss to then go in against another top, 5-ish guy like Dylan White right after that. It's not common. It's not really expected. Nor should it really be expected. Like, if you want to take a top 20-ish guy as a tune-up and then fight a Dylan White, that's acceptable. And I think that should be fine for us as fans as well. And plus, I'll be honest, I'd rather see that as a fan of the matchup. I do think the matchup itself is a fun matchup. It's, probably a better version of a Dylan White, Jarrell Miller matchup in terms of stylistically. But I want to see Andy Ruiz that's in shape, coming off a win, fighting a guy like Dylan White, not coming off a loss, coming off of all the shit that was attributed to that loss to Anthony Joshua in the rematch, going into Dylan White fight. That doesn't do anything for me. And vice versa, of Dylan White, I want to see him back in shape before I want to see him fight another top 5 guy as well. Fight Povetkin, who looked really suspect against Michael Hunter. Let's see if you're in shape again. There's a value to that, to seeing these guys fight when they're actually at their best. Because right now, I would argue neither guy is really at their best right now. And both guys can make money without each other. So they're not really needed, in my opinion.
I agree with that. And I just was running it through my head in the last 5, 6, 7 years or so, all the undefeated fighters or close to undefeated fighters who took a loss did come back. Jamel Charlo come back against relatively easy opposition. The only one I can't remember, who did Danny Garcia fight after the Thurman loss? Who was his first fight back? Because it was important. He fought someone in the interim, but I can't remember who it was.
I will let you know.
Yeah, look that up, Rob. I'm not going to.
But no, back to
the box, right?
That, I mean, yeah. I don't want to see Ruiz. I want to see how good Ruiz is, right? And he's probably not as good as the one that knocked AJ out in the 5th round, and he's not as bad as the one that we saw in the rematch. He's probably somewhere in between. And if he fights a 15 to 20 guy, he'll just outbox him, and we're not really going to get to see how good he is.
Brandon Rios.
Ooh, perfect sort of tune-up fight, too.
Absolutely. So, yeah, he came back as a touch, too. I mean, I want to see the fight because I think it's a good fight. But Matt's probably right when he says, neither guy really needs this fight, and neither guy's probably in a position where they would take the fight because they're not at their best. So they'd probably be well advised to take a tune-up fight in the interim, but I would want to see them fight each other.
Look, this is you can make the same argument we just made about how, you sort of can argue they need a tune-up with the guy I'm going to mention, but for Andy Ruiz, it's perfect. A Ruiz-Dominic Brazil fight on, Fox or something.
I knew that name was going to come out. Oh, yeah. No, it is a good name.
It's perfect for Andy Ruiz. Another guy coming off a big loss, coming off a layoff. Another guy that's, a top 20-ish guy in the division. It makes complete sense. It's in-house for PBC. It's still arguably a money fight for him. He still probably makes 7 figures for that. But the same issue of, hey, he probably deserves a tune-up right now. You can argue for Dominic Brazil as well, to be honest. Though he's out there wanting Adam Kownacki, so apparently he doesn't want to tune up, so go get Andy Ruiz. That'd be a fun fight. Put that at the forum. Or the sub hub. Guys, any other thoughts on the Eddie Hearn offer to Andy Ruiz for the Dylan White fight?
No, I think it's a ballsy offer because that's Dylan White's shot at a world title possibly up in smoke to another to a PBC guy. Suddenly that's Ruiz Wilder, right?
Is it though? Andy Ruiz coming off the loss, how he looked. And plus, like the guys we just the reasons we just mentioned, Andy Ruiz is most likely not to take this offer anyways. Like, is it really a ballsy offer?
To make the offer, yeah, but that's, again, slightly ballsy. What if Andy Ruiz says, yeah, I'll have some of that, and then comes in and super motivated and takes away that WBC interim, and suddenly he's mandatory to...
Well, let me address that question.
One guy's coming off a win streak, one guy's coming off a loss. Like, I think Eddie Hearn and Don White are thinking, no, we're in a prime position to beat Andy Ruiz right now.
That's fair enough. I'm just saying it could go spectacularly wrong.
It absolutely could. But I think in their mind, and in probably most people's minds, Dylan White's probably the favorite in the matchup right now just due to momentum.
I think it's a win-win for Eddie. If Andy Ruiz wins and he beats Dillian Whyte in the UK, now he's got the respect of the UK fans again, and he has the leverage to say, Andy Ruiz, you want a trilogy? You got to come to the UK this time. Okay? If Whyte knocks him out, oh, look, Whyte knocked him out. Anthony Joshua couldn't do that, and then he can build the Whyte versus AJ fight. I think it's well played by Eddie Hearn. I don't know if it'll happen because they can both make $1 million elsewhere, but I think it's pretty well played by Eddie Hearn.
It's well played. But I just think it's a move that it's a low risk, high reward sort of move, in a way. I think.
I've just found out the other pay-per-view fight for the Wilder Fury.
What is it?
Sources: the God, Charles Martin,
no way,
will fight Gerald Washington in an IBF heavyweight eliminator, February the 22nd on Wilder Fury pay-per-view undercard.
It's bullshit.
That is PBC's one fight on the undercard. Top rank has Emmanuel Navarrete, and we'll get to that obviously, but. Yeah, Charles Martin.
Here's all we have to say about the undercard. Undercard shit. Of course, they're spending all the money on the main event. But look, you could have consolidated the Ordonis Ugas, Mike Dallas card. You could have consolidated the Gary Russell, King Tug fight. You could have consolidated the Danny Garcia, Ivan Redkach card. You could have consolidated a lot of cards and add shit fights, but with some name value at least, to this undercard instead of Charles Martin versus Gerald Washington. And vice versa for Top Rank. They could have easily consolidated the Eloy Alvarez-Michael Seals fight that's coming up on Saturday, or the fight we just had this last weekend, Joe Smith Jr. versus, why am I forgetting it? Jesse Hart. You could have made that for the undercard. That's not a high, costly fight to put on. Fucking consolidate the events. Put on less shit cards. Consolidate it. Give us a deeper card. Could easily happen.
So we don't pretend we love Charles Martin anymore on this podcast.
Look, Charles Martin is, of course, a friend of the show and beloved by MCR, of course. But you add Gerald Washington. You add Gerald Washington to the mix. Fuck no.
All right, but there you go. Breaking news. I was going to get my soundbite, but it's too slow.
Since you talked about it, Rob, quick thoughts on the undercard, Gary too. I mean, quick thoughts on the Wilder Fury undercard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, to be honest. It's all the money is for the guys that are selling the pay-per-view at the top, right? Is you start putting a Danny Garcia, even if it isn't a shit fight, suddenly, that money starts diminishing, right? And there's less in the pot for the guys that are the headline in the show. So I'm not surprised. But yeah, it is what it is.
Lunatic in the chat. Joshua Martin 2 coming 2021.
Yeah, man. We can only hope.
We can only hope. Gary, quick thoughts on, as someone that's going to have to pay for this pay-per-view, thoughts on the...
Yeah, we will too.
Yeah, but yours is cheaper. I mean,
it probably will be a price rise from...
It's going to be $80 from that. Look, this is a horrible... and Navarrete's good.
But the fight sucks.
The fight sucks, though. And then Charles, come on, they better give us a good women's fight in the co-main. Give us a good women's fight, a high action fight to build up, because you're gonna have casuals on this. Don't you want to give a good night of boxing? Don't you want to get them into the fight, get them into it, get them into boxing? Like when I was at the fight at San Antonio, the women's fight was the perfect lead up to the main event because it was an all out and got the fans hyped. This undercard is largely trash.
A 3-fight pay-per-view. I don't get it. Why is it?
I mean, can you give us something better? Put something else in there.
But your pay-per-view is $25 per fight on this card. You're paying 25 for Charles Martin Washington, then another 25 is
That's got the potential to be awful and boring. The Navarrete fight's going to be a blowout. Hopefully, you get a knockout of the year in that fight or something. I mean, just give me something better than that. Like, give the fans.
It is literally the worst like foot to put like first possible. Like it is. Think about it. Of all the names in PBC stable and Top Rank stable, they throw Emmanuel Navarrete and Charles Martin and Joe Washington on the card. That's the best they could do. Not David Benavidez. Fuck. I mean, not Josh Warrington. Like and a tune-up. Like no, nothing.
Didn't I see the Lipinets and what was it?
Yeah, but that got moved off because it took so long, man. That was we're gonna talk about that fight, but that was supposed to be the Lipinets Abacadora fight. That actually was originally supposed to be on this card, and that would have made this card so much better. Oh my god, it wouldn't have saved it for us hardcores. It would have made it better though, for sure, vastly better. However, that due to the negotiations got pushed off this card. Yay.
Leonard Sterling. Best news of the day. They let the god off the leash. I'm probably one of the few Martin fans. I don't think he's that bad.
I think everyone loves Charles Martin, though. I don't think anyone really hates that guy.
I don't even think he's as bad as y'all do.
No, I don't think he's that bad. He's a top 25, 30 heavyweight.
Top 30. It's pretty bad, but okay.
Well, look, Gary, first off.
I get it. Like, there's thousands of heavyweights. I get it. So top 30 is not that bad.
Top 30 is not that bad. He's in there. Hold on.
I love it. Really tickled Gary.
He's in there with the Spielkas of the world and like the Heleniuses of the world and all those, guys, the Chagayevs. He's like all those guys. Am I wrong in this?
No, I mean, he's probably not better than those guys, but he's not worse than those guys either. So I think we agree on that. It's just like...
Yeah, he might be like 22.
Leon Spinks is the worst heavyweight champion in the world ever, not Charles Martin.
I don't know about that. I don't know. It's a great debate there, guys. Let us know down in the chat, in the comment section, all that stuff. What do you think about this undercard? Because god damn it, I hate it. I fucking hate it.
Boxrec has got Charles Martin at number 19.
That's acceptable. It's not what I would do, but it's acceptable. Like Huey Fury is better than him. But Huey Fury is not a top 15 fucking heavyweight. Moving on.
F.A. Jagger is number 23 in the world.
Speaking of top 15 heavyweights, though, Jarrell Big Bay Miller and Top Rank, per sources, and Mike Coppinger verbally agreed to terms on a multi-fight promotional deal that will see the heavyweight contender compete exclusively on ESPN platforms. Miller is now being advised by rap mogul James Prince. Dimitri Salita holds co-promotional rights. Now, Big Baby did come out and kind of say this isn't true yet. Miller on IG said, well, I heard they're saying I'm signing with Top Rank and ESPN. Not sure about all of that, as well as making my return on Fury Wilder card. That was obviously, I think, when the initial report of Miller coming back was him being on the undercard of Fury Wilder. Talking looks like lunch food right now. Talking about like food and stuff. I don't know. Top Rank ESPN might have to get I don't know. It's weird. I'm talking about food a lot. But Big Baby Miller, I think it's most likely signing to Top Rank. I think this is just him holding off on the final, T's being crossed, I's being dotted, that sort of shit. And we will see Big Baby on a ESPN Plus card March, April of this year. Guys, thoughts on Miller, Top Rank, sources being in a multi-fight deal?
Well, sources is, from what I've heard, more than just verbally agreed. But anyway, I'm sure it'll be announced sometime soon. It's been in the...
No, I've heard the same, Rob. What do you think's the holdup? On like the official, like, hey, here's the IG post of him with the Top Rank logo. Like, what's the holdup?
Maybe they want a fight lined up with it for the announcement, like an opponent.
I could see that and have the whole package roll out. I could see that.
Yeah. So maybe, who knows? But this is we've been waiting for, I guess, the announcement for this for some time. This has been the rumor for a little while. Look, I would say served his time. I don't know what time he's actually served.
6 months suspension from the WBA.
Yeah, so he could have fought, anyway, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, as we do with boxing, we move on and we watch him in his next fight. And yes, by the sounds of it, on ESPN Plus or ESPN. So yeah, who do we think could be the first?
Joey DeWalco.
To get that draw. Is that who he had the draw with?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Ooh,
rematch.
There's a storyline.
And like Tim Bradley and Tessitore are going to sell the shit out of that and say it's like the best rematch in heavyweight history.
DeWalco could be like, I was preparing Joshua, knocked him out, softening him up for you, and then you went and popped dirty. The whole DeWalco knocked AJ out in sparring thing, and
you're going to 100% have Joe Tessitore go, well, Tim, we did hear that Joey DeWalco knocked out Anthony Joshua in sparring. Kind of the unofficial heavyweight champion of the world, is he not? Ha. And Tim Bradley go on some top rank bullshit, shill rant.
BBC guys need to pull their pants up or whatever it is. Let their balls hang or whatever.
So weird.
But yeah, this is what we expected. So, but yeah, you think DeWalco first up?
That seems like maybe like a Brian Jennings, somebody of that level, I would assume. If Fury was still aligned with Frank Warren, I would say like a Fury, but he's with Matchroom now.
What about Caballero?
I wouldn't mind that, but it's not the top. It's not the top rank MO. I'll be honest, it's not. I think they're gonna put him in there with a veteran that we know, and that's relatively a tune-up in their eyes.
You know who he's gonna get? We're gonna see the return of Otto Valine. Perfect opponent to beat up on. And we're going, oh, he's good. He almost knocked out Tyson Fury.
Shit.
No.
I'm telling you, you're going to see the return of Otto Valine, and they're going to try to sell him as the man who almost beat the man. And Valine's a big guy with no skills who's durable. Perfect guy for Big Baby to beat up on. He can throw 100 punches at him, and he'll probably knock him out late, but maybe he goes the distance, and it'll just make him. It's perfectly he's perfectly made for Miller just to beat up on him like a human heavy bag, which he is.
What do you call the man who nearly beat the man? Is he like the regular lineal?
Almost lineal. You want to? I would bet you we're going to see the return of Otto Valine.
Gary, you make a great argument that I'm now hating because it's such a great argument and it makes complete sense.
And I think the reason why it hasn't been official is that this deal may be contingent upon something like him passing a drug test. So until they get the results of that, and that he's not on every substance made in a lab, it's not official.
I mean, I could see that.
He fell for everything. There was nothing he didn't take.
Guys, any other thoughts?
I believe Wallin is coming back to something fairly big. I think I listened to Dimitri Salita interview, and he suggested something pretty big.
Jarrell Miller makes the most sense, and it's a common opponent with in-house guy. It makes all the sense in the world. And again, like I said, you're gonna have the ESPN commentators eating that shit up and selling that shit like it's the best heavyweight fight ever, because that's what Tessitore and Tim Bradley do.
It will be if Marlene wins.
If I needed a brand ambassador, if I needed someone to sell my brand, I would hire Tim Bradley. He's a great company guy.
Amazing company guy. Moving on, obviously we reported and others reported in the last week or so that Canelo, Billy Joe Saunders seems to be the next fight for a variety of reasons, either sources or not. It just seems like the next fight. But Boxing Social interviewed Joe Gallagher and obviously trainer of Callum Smith, and Eddie said he has to negotiate Canelo Saunders. Now, I'll be honest. I know we were told check out this interview a while ago, and I mean Joe Gallagher's out there saying no, we're still getting the fight. But Joe Gallagher is like Freddie Roach, or like the UK Freddie Roach to me. It's he talks a lot to the media, and he talks a lot. You know what I mean? So therefore, I don't really believe a lot of what he says. And I often will believe reporters over trainers or managers or promoters because I usually believe reporters. That's my class of people. Therefore, I'm going to support my class solidarity all the time. So I trust the reporting that Canelo Saunders is next. That seems like it's a deal is going to be in place sometime imminent, I guess. But digression from that, guys, thoughts on the potential for a Canelo-Callum Smith fight sneaking in here, as Joe Gallagher says?
No, can't see it. I think the Saunders stuff, there seems to be a lot of weight behind it, and Frank Smith said today that there hasn't been an actual offer or anything yet from Golden Boy, but he didn't say, but but he believes it will be one of the two from the Matchroom stable there.
I think it's a threat. I think Billy Joe might be one of those type of people who's hard to work with, and it's like I think there's they want to get that out there because Billy might be stubborn and he might want something ridiculous like a 50-50 split because he's the champ. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, Billy, we have other options here. Caleb Smith's a good option. And if we can't work with you, we'll just move on to Caleb Smith. I think they want to make it with Billy Joe. I think that's why they put Billy Joe on the that YouTube fight card. Like they want to be Billy Joe, but would you be shocked if Billy Joe was a real difficult person to work with?
I think the only thing that I've heard him say, which might be potentially air quotes difficult, which I don't see as unreasonable at all, is that he wants to fight Canelo on a level playing field regarding no silly weight clauses or anything like that. He doesn't want to do weight clauses or I'm not allowed to do whatever just because. But he's the A side. If you want to fight Canelo and make the big money, you're gonna have to do what he says, I guess. But is that such a ridiculous demand that you don't have some kind of A side clause put on you? Just sort of, it's not the rule, so.
It's not a ridiculous demand, but like I just look at Billy Joe and he never gets the big fight, right? He never gets the fight. Like there's probably a reason for that. Like his name was linked to Triple G. It was linked to a lot of names, and he never gets the fight. It might be him.
Yeah, he was used for leverage. I think before one time Saunders had signed his half of the contract, and then the Canelo Triple G was made, right? But it was kind of used, I think, in some kind of little game between the other two rather than it was really going to happen. But yeah, I know what you mean. The potential is there, I guess, for Billy to be difficult, but I don't know. I think as soon as the final figure is black in front of him,
I think it will be Billy Joe. I think they'll get it made. I just think they're like, look, Billy, we have options. Like we have a great option actually. Yeah, so if you just want to sign the paperwork, we'll just go elsewhere.
Yeah, that's the threat, right? All right, we'll fight someone else. We'll fight the other guy that.
We found someone else. So do you want to sign, or do you want Caleb Smith to have the fight?
And even with Caleb Smith, it's like, dude, I'm Canelo. I can go fight Triple G, Jamal Charlo. I can fight anyone. I'm fucking Canelo. Like that's.
You're fucking Canelo.
That's often why, like, a lot of the guys that fought like Mayweather towards the end, like, got really high purses, but not like significantly higher. You know what I mean? Like they still only got like 2 or 3 million purses with Floyd Mayweather. Maybe good back end money because of the pay-per-view buy rate in terms of clauses in their contract, in terms of payout, in terms of certain buy rates they hit. But largely speaking, I mean you have no leverage negotiating with the megastars. You don't. And I'll be honest, I think Billy Joe Saunders and Callum Smith especially have no leverage negotiating with Canelo. Like they're not in the U.S. market. Predominantly, they're I would say not even draws in the UK as well. I mean, I think Rob would probably agree with me on that. I mean, relative to the draws we talk about, they're not the big draws we talk about in the UK. Even Canelo has all the leverage in the world. And speaking of other options, he might go. Triple G switching trainers. My commenter reporting Triple G held a 10-day trial camp with strength and conditioning guru. That is one way to put it. Victor Conti, and decided to hold his full camp at Bay Area-based snack facility. Conti tells The Athletic, Golovkin usually trains in Big Bear defends middleweight title versus Camille Zamarata on March 28th. Again, interesting way to put conditioning guru for the guy that, he was federally convicted of a crime, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I want to get my terminology right. That's all, Gary. He was officially convicted of a crime, and the whole Balco scandal. So
he's still with Jonathan Banks, though, right? Because you said he switched trainers.
I just don't.
I don't know about Jonathan Banks. There's no mention of him here. I'm assuming he is because Victor Conte is not a boxing coach.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming he's moved his camp from Big Bear to the Bay Area to train with Victor Conte.
You sort of said change trainers, so I sort of like just in case people thought he's dropped Jonathan Banks.
Thank you for the clarification, Rob. You're right. I should have made that point. But before you jump in, Gary, I just want to point out Victor Conte again. We should see a new and improved Triple G in his next fight. I'll say that from the Derevchenko fight.
Yeah. I don't. Yes, you should, and he may also fail a test too. But Victor Conte's good at hiding things, so I just don't understand. Like, don't associate. There are other trainers, and there are other strength and conditioning coaches out there. There are other names. There are people who can do their job as well as he does. I just don't understand this, right? Like, do you think that it was like when Lindsey Vonn, is that her name, the downhill skier, dated Tiger Woods? It's like, you don't think he's going to cheat on you, sweetheart? And then, like, I can't believe he cheated on me. Like, did you not watch the news? Do you not know what you walked into here? Like, this is a bad
Gary, let's not act like snack fighters like William Monroe Jr. and others have failed for tests before in recent memory. Let's not act like that. Let's not act like there's a trend with snack fighters. Or that their affiliation with VADA is a little bit shady. No, let's not act like that at all. No. We're good, Gary.
It's a bad look. Like... And Victor Conte was tied to guys. Shane Mosley was one of them. Guys who got away with it. Shane Mosley admitted to taking steroids. He said he knew what he was taking.
Never
right? So he didn't even hide it. Then there were Barry Bonds, Jason Giambi. Like a bunch of everyone who was in the Bay Area at that time was associated with him. And they got away with it. So maybe looking for a way to get away with cheating.
I mean, Victor Conte literally got on the radio, years ago and just like spelled out how you can get past tests on like public radio.
Yeah, he did. And then that was when Pacquiao agreed to the 14-day testing with Mayweather. He came out and explained blood doping, how the boxing way they test is antiquated. It's not like baseball, the Olympics. You could just freeze the clean blood and then inject it, and it'll come in below the limits, and you'll pass the test, right? Because it's just a pass or a fail. Where baseball in the Olympics, they measure it, and if it spikes or shoots down, you fail. In boxing, it was like, it's a 60, you pass or fail. You know what I'm saying? So if you get a 50, if you get a 59, that's as good as a 0. You passed. So just know when the test is, freeze the blood, put the blood back in, and you can pass the test. Like, he walked you through that on radio, and it was like, huh.
Like that's the Lance Armstrong playbook.
Like I said,
Lance Armstrong's a Texan.
Like I said, Triple G should be new and improved for that Zamaratsa fight.
Yeah, he probably won't have the flu this fight. That's all.
What belt does he hold?
The IBF.
IBF. Okay. So there's no VADA testing for sure with the clean boxing program, even though that's a fucking joke.
He will not fight for the WBC again.
No, but even then, like, it's VADA. VADA has a close relationship with Victor Conte. Like, that's always been something that I've had issue with VADA. But digressing, moving on, Triple G, yeah, he's now with Victor Conte, or at least in terms of his strength and conditioning is with Victor Conte. Should be interesting to see what that's like going forward, let's be honest. But moving on, Mike Coppinger reporting sources Adam Kownacki and Robert Helenius have a done deal for a PBC on Fox headliner March 7th in Brooklyn. Kownacki, an undefeated heavyweight contender coming off victory over Chris Arreola in August. Keith Deck, first report, fighters agreed to terms. And obviously Dominic Brazil came back and said, I believe I have this up. Yep, here we go. The look on the AK Babyface, that's his handle, Kownacki's handle, face when it comes to signing the contract to fight me. Now he wants to fight a washed-up dude instead of giving the fans a heavyweight slugfest and fighting me. Go ahead and pad your record, ... So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying not to care about this card because the main event sucks. And even like Kownacki, Brazil's a fight that I really don't have an appetite for the reasons I mentioned, why like Brazil probably shouldn't be fighting like Andy Ruiz or anyone else, because he's had a huge layoff and he just got knocked out brutally in his last fight. So why would he fight another, top 15, really dominant fighter at this point in time. He shouldn't. He shouldn't have to either. But he wants to. So therefore, this Kownacki-Helenius fight's even worse. So it's just bad all around. I don't even know what to say. Because again, even the better fight is, in my opinion, a good Fox main event. But digressing. Gary, I'm going to go to you first this time. Gary, thoughts on Kownacki-Helenius not getting Kownacki-Brazil? Brazil saying that Kownacki doesn't want to fight him. All the fun drama of this PBC on Fox card.
I mean, look, you guys know I think Dominic Brazil is trash, right? Like, I mean, we've been over that. But if they're offering you the same amount of money to fight Brazil and Robert Helenius, who would you fight? I'd fight Helenius, right? Like, Helenius isn't going to knock me out. Helenius isn't going to be good. Again, we're going to find out. Like, I think Kownacki's got some star power. Like the Polish community in New York and New Jersey is pretty strong, and they like boxing. I think we're testing out how big Kownacki's star power is, and I think we're going to be surprised with just how big of a star he's become. I think he can be a player, a draw in the heavyweight division, and I think that this is going to show that because he would be selling all the tickets. The amount of tickets Robert Helenius will sell is between 0 and 5.
What is he, Swedish?
I was going to ask you.
Who?
Helenius.
Finland.
Wait, okay, Rob. I'm sorry. I was, one country over in Scandinavia. My bad.
Oh, if I called you Canadian?
I wouldn't be offended.
Oh, you'd be like, oh, yeah. Anyway, you asked you said, is he Swedish? And I said, no, he's from Finland.
Yeah, Canadians are nicer than Americans. I wouldn't be offended. And all the Scandinavians are nice, so it's okay. But digressing. Oh, Gary, what happened? Oh. Rob, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi.
You're looking right at me. What are you
Don't you can say that, okay? But my system just dropped out. I wonder if Gary knows that he's no longer here. Let me just talk.
I don't think Gary knows anything.
Gary would just be talking to frozen screens. Let's be honest. Rob, your thoughts on Kownacki-Helenius, the fight we're not getting, Kownacki-Brazil wanting it. Thoughts on that whole clusterfuck?
Many. Yeah, it's not I think it's a step backwards for Kownacki. Yeah, I don't know. Different stories behind Brazil. People say he was pricing himself out. He claims he signed it, his side of things, and it wasn't Kownacki that didn't. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what comes up for Brazil going forward. Oh, here he comes.
Thank you for joining us, Gary.
It's good to be here.
Well, that's the Texas segment over with Matt. Let's move on. We've talked about the Texas fighters. Let's move on.
No, we're going to talk about a lot more Oh, next topic is Texas fighters. And
man.
one Texas fighter, one transplant Texas fighter. We're going to talk about the location of this fight. But Steve Kim reporting a fight being discussed, I'm told, about between Regis Prograis and Maurice Hooker. And then Dan Rayfield later reporting promoters Lou DiBella and Dino Duva are in talks to make a spring fight between former junior welterweight world title holders Regis Prograis and Maurice Hooker, both of whom lost their belts in all-action unification bouts in the World Boxing Super Series semifinals to Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez, respectively. Technically, only one of those was a World Boxing Super Series bout. Bad reporting there, Dan. Come on here. Stop fucking up. And those ESPN checks and get a basic fact wrong. What are you doing? Back to what he's saying. DiBella, who represents Prograis, told ESPN that he and Hooker co-promoter Duva have talked to Eddie Hearn, Hooker's co-promoter, and DAZN about the fight and said, quote, they like it. What boxing fan wouldn't love the fight? Anyone who knows boxing knows it's a can't-miss fight. Mike Coppinger also reporting after this, saying that the fight is being rumored and sort of tentatively scheduled for a Madison Square Garden location. I forget the exact date he penciled it in for in terms of the rumor, but digressing back to Prograis Hooker, also just side topics to this, Prograis had sort of an interesting thought about Terrence Crawford and ESPN not wanting to be in the same predicament as Crawford is in, so not really wanting to be signing to Top Rank. And also, Lou DiBella was on the Boxing Voice, I want to say a few weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago at least, and said that he and PBC really don't work together as much anymore for a variety of reasons he didn't get into. So it would make sense that if Top Rank isn't really one that you're interested in, even though you might be fielding offers, and PBC you're not working with or your promoter's not working with anymore, then really the only big conglomerate left is DAZN and Matchroom. And the only name they have at 140 is Maurice Hooker. I don't know what this means about long-term possibility of being with DAZN and Matchroom, but maybe tabling that for the second sort of aspect of this discussion. But guys, thoughts on Prograis, Hooker, on DAZN, MSG, and all that shabam. Rob, thoughts? Oh, we're over there, but not by the mic, not paying attention. Come on, people. You think
found a very good article from the WBC.
You're not on camera, and you just get lazy, Rob.
I'm loving it. No, I've just found a really good article by the WBC. So
he didn't even bother to comb his hair.
His hair,
I know, right?
Both of them.
At least you put a hat on. But yeah, what were we talking about? Oh, Prograis Hooker. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I really like that fight. It was kind of talked about a little bit before. I think Eddie mentioned he'd like to do the Hooker fight and stuff like that. So, I guess when we heard Taylor moved over to ESPN, that maybe Prograis would, want to look in that direction. But I guess Matt, you sent that video, and doesn't seem like he doesn't want to be in the same predicament as Crawford and things like that.
Thinking long term, if he were to sign a Top Rank, he was thinking if he wants to beat Crawford. I think even Lou DiBella said look, we do want to fight Crawford. But I think he's thinking, look, if I sign a Top Rank deal and I beat Crawford, what's next for me after that? Then I'm stuck in the same position he was in. I just happen to beat him. I still can't get Thurmans, the Dannys, the Spences, whoever it may be, the Pacquiaos, and those are all fights that he would probably want at 147. Do you think he goes like the Mikey route to one fight deals, mercenary contracts?
Yeah, that makes the most sense. For me, I think that does make the most sense. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought he was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just float around and get the best fights he can wherever he can.
And I agree with you, Rob, that in the short term, the Maurice Hooker fight makes the most sense in the world. Both guys losing to the other champions fight each other. The winner can go fight the undisputed champion whenever they fight this year. It would make all the sense in the world, to be honest.
And I, don't want to be one to jump the gun, but if Taylor Ramirez is made, and just off the back of what Taylor has said, if he was to become undisputed, he's then moving up. So those bouts suddenly trickle down, and Hooker Prograis winner would probably be in line for a vacant, if not mandatory to the winner if they were to stick around. So they'll be lined up to be world champion again. So it makes all the sense in the world, and I'm sure DAZN would very much look forward to that one on their platform, and fight fans should be as well.
Before Gary jumps in to give his thoughts on Prograis Hooker, a couple thoughts I want to give before he jumps in. Quickly, I see a lot of people shitting on Prograis, saying he's avoided Josh Taylor. I don't see that, because this isn't a long-term deal with DAZN or Matchroom to any degree, and like me and Rob just mentioned, it seems like he is thinking from a mercenary contract aspect, sort of like Mikey is. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him fight on ESPN or PBC or whoever later this year, to be honest. I would not be surprised at all to see a Prograis versus whoever at 140 or 147 on ESPN in the summertime or fall of this year. That would not be shocking at all, and that'd be a one-fight deal, or with an option maybe after that. That's it. I could see that absolutely. Also, Garrett, I want you to answer this because you're Texan as well. Hooker from Dallas. Prograis, obviously originally from New Orleans, but now living in Houston. Why isn't this fight in Texas? This is a perfect Texas fight.
It is, and they actually fought each other in the Texas State Golden Gloves before each of them turned pro. Prograis won. A lot of people thought Hooker was robbed they are both fully confident that they could win that fight because they both, Prograis got the decision, and Hooker and a lot of people thought he was robbing the Golden Glove, and they've known each other for years. Like this, Hooker said this. Hooker said if he beat Ramirez, the only fight he would stay at 144 was Prograis. There would be a lot of animosity in that fight. I don't know why it wouldn't be in Texas. I think that they should reconsider that and put it in Dallas, unless Prograis simply doesn't want that, right? Because Prograis' base is still in New Orleans. After Katrina, his family moved to Houston, as a lot of people from Louisiana did. It's a great fight for the fans. It's a great fight for Prograis. And I want to address that, right? People saying Prograis is ducking Taylor. Come on. Prograis is taking one-fight deals so he doesn't get locked into anything and can fight whoever he wants. Like, this is Prograis not ducking people. If Prograis wanted to duck someone, he wouldn't go right into a fight with Hooker. He would go take a tune-up fight. He'd go take a long-term deal with Top Rank, and he would go take a Terrence Crawford diet. This is him not ducking anyone.
And if he goes to ESPN, he's not going to be on the undercard of Logan Paul, Antonio Brown, right?
But you don't think Prograis wants a rematch with Josh Taylor? You don't think Prograis thinks he won that fight?
Sorry, it's just Matt shaking his head at me right now.
Okay, you guys don't think Prograis wants a rematch with Taylor?
That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm shaking my head at.
No, he didn't like me bringing up Logan Paul and Antonio Brown. That's all.
Okay.
That's not a topic on this show.
Until it's official.
And even then.
Yeah, it will.
It's just me ranting about it.
NFL market going after it.
No, I understand completely, guys. I understand completely.
But yeah, of course he wants the Taylor rematch. I don't think he's. I joked with Matt that he's ducking Taylor in our group chat. But yeah, of course he wants to fight Taylor again and try and win his belts back and stuff.
No, I understand that you were joking, Rob, but there are some people out there that I've seen actually say that, and fans say that, and it's always good to, push back on narratives and fanboy talking points. Guys, any other thoughts on Prograis Hooker next, most likely for MSG? I think it was for the springtime of this year. I forget exactly what month that Mike Coppinger reported it for. Any last thoughts on this? No.
Antonio Brown or Randy Moss in their primes. Who you got, Rob?
I saw a video of him training. If he can't move his feet any better than that, oh my God.
Are we talking about receiving, Gary, or just like in a fight?
Receiving.
Randy Moss, man. Come on, man. Randy Moss.
Antonio Brown is so good. I get it. He doesn't have the athleticism of Moss or the size. That guy's always open. There's no way to guard Antonio Brown. He had 140 catches in the season.
Look, it's always Randy Moss. Randy Moss is the greatest receiver of the last 20 years.
No. Then if it's not, then it's Antonio Brown.
No. Number 2 is T.O., man. Respect. That's my quarterback, man. That's my quarterback.
You know that T.O. has the record for most drop passes ever?
Number 3 is Chad Ochocinco. I said it. I said it. Last 20 years.
He still get knocked out by a YouTuber, though, Gary. Let's face it.
I don't know.
I'm joking. I don't know. I don't even care who wins.
I hope the stage collapses on them.
On them?
Yes. Like the lights, everything.
So not the stage, the like lighting rigs and stuff.
The entire arena falls on them. That's what I hope.
Oh my God.
Kidding.
I don't think you are.
Sergey Lipinets agreeing with this ESPN report about him versus Epikadorov for the interim title, saying time to go to work, nothing would be left behind, everything would be left in the ring.
Gary left the building.
Thanks, Gary. But Rob, thoughts on Lipinets Epikadorov next? Obviously, we reported that some time ago, but it's seemingly now going to happen, even though there's been some holdups for some reason.
I kind of like Lipinets. It'd be good to see him back in the ring. But yeah, it should be a good fight. But
and I like Epikadorov. He looked good after that Luis Collazo fight. I think people forget about that fight, to be honest, because Epikadorov is a very hard name to remember and pronounce. So people just kind of check it off.
So you're hoping Lipinets wins.
more people know him, probably.
On a pronunciation on future shows point of view. Let's go Lipinets. But no, good fight. So this will determine this is for the interim, right? Because Spence being inactive, right?
Yes.
So we will see, Spence out there in the clubs, being a youngster.
Yeah, I can't believe people are really upset about that shit. There's a picture of him dancing with a friend and like complete goofball dancing, like the type of dancing you do with your dumbass friend when you're just goofing around, right? And I have people talking to me saying that we should be more critical of him being, quote, an alcoholic because we're dads. God, people.
We're not Spence's dad. I mean,
first off, if you're in your 20s, hell, even 30s, and you want to go to the clubs with your friends, you can do that, whether you're a parent or not. Who gives a fuck? Okay? The only thing I care about is if he's drinking and driving. And there was no video of him drinking and driving, so who gives a shit?
Look, if he is drinking and he does have like any kind of drink problem, like get help, whatever. But on a boxing point of view, it's gonna maybe curtail his career in somewhat. But I don't know. Whatever. I'm not his dad. I don't know why.
Who cares?
Being dad has anything to do with it. I'll tell my own son about the dangers of.
And I'll be honest, drunk Spence is fun. Are we forgetting that video?
Yeah, when he said he's been boxing, what was it 50? How did he explain it? It made out like he was 0.
Regis Prograis.
Oh yeah,
the Centurion.
But no, look, like I say, is it what you want as a true professional? I mean, look, he put a tweet out after that, no more fat camps, no more blowing up in weight. Well, he's looking a bit on the bigger side, whatever.
He looks fine. Rob just left the room.
I don't know. Something's going on. Rob's going to complain about Lightstream the next time.
Well, it's not Lightstream. It's my system. You guys know that. Like, I've been having... Gary, like, how many conversations do we have to have about me getting a new router tomorrow, if you guys understand?
I have some short-term memory issues.
I understand, Gary. I understand.
I have some short-term memory issues.
Fucking excuse.
He needs to stop drinking.
No, I haven't had a drink in over 3 years.
Lame. What a boomer.
But no, Spence, do whatever you want, man. But
as long as you're not doing anything illegal, like, who gives a shit when it comes to that?
Well, the driving bit is, but
that's what I'm talking about. That's illegal. Like, that's when we care. Yeah, and that's when you're in danger of someone. Yeah, you're in the club with your friend dancing. That's doing no harm to no one.
Some of that was illegal. Come on, that dancing that's like.
I thought the dancing was fine.
Yeah.
As somebody that can't dance, like, I can't talk.
He's a dad. That was dad dancing.
That was 100% dad dancing. Thank you for pointing that out. But as somebody that can't dance, like, I can never shit on anyone else's dance moves. I just can't.
No.
I can't dance.
The good thing was when I was Matt's age, probably younger, like college age.
Oh, John Travolta over here.
We had Fat Joe, who would just lean back and do the rock away. So the people who couldn't dance could just rock away.
God, you get more boomer every time you talk, Gary. Moving on, guys, because we have a lot to get to still. Mike Coppins reporting a purse bid is set to take place January 28th for the IBF lightweight title eliminator between George Kambosos and Lee Selby. I really like this fight, actually. According to an IBF letter sent today, obtained by The Athletic, this part, though, is probably going to be the hang-up to why this fight never happens. Kambosos is scheduled to make 60% to Selby's 40%. What?
It's bullshit.
I don't understand the logic behind that. You have a former champion, even though it was a different division, a former champion, getting the 40%? I mean, let's be honest, he beat Ricky Burns in his last fight. That's a far better win than Mickey Bay. So I'm confused why Kambosos gets the 60%. He's ranked higher, but then again, I would revert back to why the fuck is he ranked higher than a former champion just beat Ricky Burns? That's the one odd part about this news that makes me think this fight doesn't happen and we get Lee Selby doing something else because he's thinking, why the hell am I going to take 40% against George Kambosos? Fuck that. I'm out of here. But guys, thoughts on the IBF ordering this title eliminator for the lightweight division for obviously Teofimo Lopez, and it's Lee Selby versus George Kambosos Jr. The thoughts of the percentage split, the purse split, all that fun stuff. Rob.
Yeah, why is there a different, like A side, B side split in a eliminator?
I would assume because one guy's ranked higher. That's my assumption. I
It
haven't
must
checked.
be the guy above the guy, right? So
yep,
that's ridiculous. Just 50-50 split, and then the winner goes on, obviously, and gets a title shot where he will be making bigger money than the guy that didn't win the eliminator, right? So there's the incentive, right? You two guys, there's this, 50-50. Winner goes on to better things. That's, I don't know, it's ridiculous. But yeah, does it happen? Who knows at this point? I think Eddie Hearn might have a different plan. I think he's mentioned working with Selby some more. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, weird.
I'm with Rob. I don't think it happens. Now, but that's going to depend more on Selby, right? Like, this is probably Selby's last shot at a title shot, right? Because there's a new wave of 135-pounders coming up, and he's on his way out, right? So it does he want the money, or does he want one last title shot? You know what I'm saying? If he wants one last, he can beat Kambosos, I think. I would pick him.
I mean, it's a tough fight still because Kambosos is part of that new wave. Like he is. He's a young, undefeated prospect.
But he's not like the Devin Haney's, the Tanaharas of the world. He's not at that level.
Gary, I can make a legit argument that Kambosos is a far more proven prospect than Devin Haney, and Devin Haney has a fucking belt. I mean, I just shit on Mickey Bay a second ago, but that's still Mickey Bay.
Yeah, Mickey Bay's a decent fighter. Sure.
Better than anyone on Devin Haney's resume, Ryan Garcia's resume, Hector Tanahara's resume.
You think he's better than Burgos?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Burgos went the distance with Mikey Garcia and fought Rocky Martinez to a draw.
So?
Okay.
So?
All right. I think it's if one guy's better than the other, it's marginal. But
it might be.
He's a good fighter, and I think Burgos is a good fighter too, though.
It might be marginal, but I know you overrate Burgos and you overrate Tanahara because you're a fanboy. So I kind of take that in consideration.
That's got to be factored into the equation.
Yeah, it knocks him down at least like 10%. It has to. I'm sorry. But digressing from that, I think we're all in agreement here that the percentage split is weird, and B, it probably means the fight's not going to happen because Lee Selby, if we're talking about A side, is probably the A side in the matchup, not the B side. Just a weird sort of clause here for the eliminator here.
Yeah, if you put who would sell more tickets? Who would make it a bigger attraction? Who's the bigger name? It's Selby.
It would largely depend where it's at. If it's in Australia, it's Kambosos. If it's in the UK, it's Lee Selby. If it's in America, who cares?
Don't put it in America.
It's 100% going to be in America.
You'll put it in Miami.
Phoenix. Mulvane. Let's name other DAZN card locations, please, to make Rob more upset, please. I'm sorry. Moving on. We have a lot to get to, and Rob's tired, I can tell. Alexander Besputin.
By the way, speaking of purse bids, Campbell Fortuna have now got 5 days.
5 days? Oh, my God. It's going to happen. Who do you think is going to win that one?
What, the fight or the purse bid?
Purse bid.
I don't think it'll go to purse bid. I think they'll get it done.
Oh, that's lame. It's less dramatic. I want purse bids. But Mike Carpenter saying, breaking. Alexander Besputin's urine sample revealed presence of a banned substance, LGD 4033, which I believe was the planet in Aliens. Just saying. Ligand draw. On December 1st, day after he outpointed Radzab Butayev for the WBA regular welterweight title, according to Monaco Boxing Federation test report obtained by The Athletic. I talked briefly to Dave Marzin over at the Body Lock, who I think is one of the few experts on PD regulation and testing in combat sports. He said the substance is a wide contamination issue, but he needs to know more information whether to make any sort of determination on this case. And I'll be honest, reading Jake Donovan's reporting about how Besputin allegedly was really pushing back on testing, was difficult with VADA. It actually leans me more into the issue of Besputin was probably dirty here. But you guys know me. I largely don't give a fuck about this. Gary, Rob, thoughts on Besputin testing positive for a performance-enhancing drug?
This, again, if he's not allowed to take it, he's not allowed to take it. But this is like saying you can't wear shorts on a Thursday or you're banned. It's like, there's nothing wrong with the substance.
Well, no, Gary, it's not approved by the FDA. It's banned by WADA. It's banned by VADA. I mean, it is illegal, and it's not even approved for regular consumption in the United States.
Right, but if I'm saying
like to compare it to Gary, come on, to compare it to wearing shorts outside, which is, approved by the FDA. I'm assuming, right? I don't
know if they ruled on it.
I don't think that's their jurisdiction. And I think that's a false equivalence there, Gary.
This went through Joakim Noah and the University of Florida football team.
But those are you're talking about sports that are not under the WADA code, Gary.
But
they don't do Olympic style testing.
Okay.
They don't. Like, you're talking about apples and oranges in terms of testing regulation.
That's not what I was talking about. But go ahead, Rob.
No, I'm sorry, Gary. I'm sorry. You're right. I interrupted you. No, I apologize.
And they looked at the substance and it was banned, right? So they had to hit him with a suspension. And then they looked at it and said, well, there's nothing negative about the drug. There was maybe it affects the liver, but that was kind of up in the air. If you had 10 doctors, 5 would say, not really. 5 would say, yeah, it probably has a minuscule effect on the liver toxicity. If you're smarter than me, maybe you know what that is. But there was no downside. The downside was it regrew muscle and healed bones. It's given to women with osteoporosis.
Yeah, that's a performance enhancing effect, Gary. The downside is enhancement. It's muscle growth. It's bone growth. Like that's an enhancement. Saying it has no negative side effects doesn't mean that it should be not banned. That has nothing to do with why substances are banned. That's one aspect, but that's not largely why substances are banned. Is because it's harmful to you.
Big Baby Miller was taking shit that gives you cancer, right? But it also helped you out. So.
And Gary, I mean, yeah, Joakim Noah, like, apparently they didn't care about it, but who cares? Like, that's, again, apples and oranges. Those are institutions that are not under the WADA code, not under VADA testing. They're not under Olympic-style testing at all. So it's a false equivalence to give these comparisons.
What I'm saying is, my argument is that he shouldn't be suspended. It's that thing shouldn't be on the ban list. That putting that on the ban list to me is silly, and there's no reason to make that a banned substance.
I've seen no proof of that, Gary. You've been saying that, but haven't sent me any links. You haven't sent me anything, so I'm not going off of your word about it. It's a SARM, okay? It's on the ban list, okay? It's not like it's a diuretic where I've been largely like of the mindset like diuretics aren't that big of a deal. Like, who cares? It's a SARM. It's something that is supposed to grow muscle and build bone density. Like you said, it's like all SARMs. And they are against WADA regulation at all times in and out of competition. This is even like clenbuterol to a degree, I would say, where there's massive documented studies about this that I brought up. I've brought up the links to everyone. Like, I need to see that, Gary, for you to say that like this substance shouldn't be on the list. And you know me, Gary, all I need is one link. I'm quick to say, oh, yeah, that's probably shouldn't be on the list. But I need to see some evidence here.
Okay, I'll go, because this is probably 5, 6, 7 years ago with Noah and the University of Florida football team, but I'll go find it.
Yeah, because, I tried doing a little bit of research. I didn't find anything that was on the lines of, oh, this is either a big contamination issue or that this shouldn't be on the list. I didn't see anything of that sort. I saw that this was a SARM, and most SARMs are not really allowed in any aspect. Even though there's massive contamination issues depending on the SARM, which is a selective adrenaline receptor modulator or something like that, it's still banned. And look, let's be honest here. He's got popped by Monaco, and the WBA, I think, is the one that has final jurisdiction on it. Right, Rob?
Yeah, the WBA. Look, I just went on their
He's
website,
fine.
actually. I was going to see if there was a story on there, but there's nothing on there about it.
He's fine.
But they are looking into it.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. Like, he's going to get maybe a slap on the wrist, and he'll be fine.
He said he's fighting it, right? He's going to get his B sample done. And
He says he's fighting it, but I mean, if you're documented to be difficult with VADA and the testing collection agency beforehand, like, man, just Circumstantial evidence, yes, but I mean it's evidence to point against you, Besputin. But then again, I just don't care because I think PD testing is a very unequal system at this point in time. But digressing, guys.
People suggesting that's why Butayev, remember at the end of the fight, he kind of led with his head a little bit and got all pissed off at him at the end. Like, yeah.
That's not why he did that. He did that because he was losing the fight and got frustrated. He might have been frustrated with him pre-fight due to this, but during the fight, no, he just was getting outworked and out-hustled, and he was getting frustrated, in my opinion.
It was a shit fight anyway, right, Gary?
That was such a good fight, too. I can't believe Gary hates that fight.
He still hasn't watched it.
No, I did. What happened was I was at a fight that weekend, and I came back, and I binge watched all the fights before the show, and that one put me to sleep. I definitely watched it because I remember how awful it was.
Okay, moving on. Mike Coppinger saying sources is the last news topic of the day. Then we're going to get to fights coming up this weekend, break them down, and then get out of here, guys. No caller today, unfortunately, because of the issues with the system, but hopefully we'll be back tomorrow, full system running. And you can see Gary and Rob's face hopefully tomorrow. It'll be lovely. At worst on Friday. But sources, Mike Coppinger saying Jeff Horn, Tim Tszyu closing in on a deal on April 18th fight in Australia. Will be a major event there and a big step up for Tszyu, an undefeated prospect and son of Hall of Famer Costa Tszyu. Fight will be at 154 pounds. Ben Damon first to report.
You calling him Tim Tszyu and his father Costa Tszyu? I don't know.
Okay, shut up, Rob.
He's got
shut up.
Same name said different. Brilliant.
Shut up.
Do the same. I would call him Tim Tszyu too, and Costa. I would do the same thing Matt did. I don't know why, but Rob's right.
It's the double T's.
Yeah,
it's the double T's, Rob. Okay.
Where?
You do it.
Costa Tszyu and Tim Tszyu.
Just Tim Tszyu?
Because he thought about it. No, Rob's right, but I would have done I would call him Tim Tszyu.
Because it's the T.
And Rob said he called him Tim Tszyu. Like, yeah, that's his name. He's like, and then he called him Costa Tszyu. All right, I see.
Because the caustic has the T in the middle, so it does both enough for me. My mind,
I'm just putting it out there.
Rob. This might be like the Baturbia thing where you just find out you're wrong too.
I've not been proven wrong.
You did. We had a Russian listener say that you were wrong.
Oh yeah, like he knows. Vodka drinking crazy person.
Natural speaker of the language, but Rob.
Anyways, guys.
Rob knows better.
Jeff Horn, Tim Tszyu, should be a massive fight in Australia. I mean, first off, both guys do really great numbers for us online. So that is a sign that they'll probably do big numbers in Australia. It's a region that kind of needs big fights like this. So, guys, thoughts on Tim Tszyu versus Jeff Horn, which could be a changing of the guard fight for Australian boxing, which is weird to say because Jeff Horn and the Terence Crawford fight only happened a few years ago. Thoughts?
I'm into this fight. Tim Tszyu is a prospect who's been on our radar for a while, but he's never really fought anyone. I think he's got one veteran that we kind of know on his resume. I'd have to look it up. But he looked good, but he hasn't fought anyone. I mean, this is a massive step up. I'm going to lean towards Horn because I don't think Tszyu, I'm going to call him Tszyu from now on, is ready for this type of fight. But it's a really good fight. If Tszyu wins, I'm going to be really impressed because I still think Horn's pretty good. Like he's a top 10 to 15 guy.
Didn't Tim Tszyu just fight like Billy Dibb, who was like a 122 pounder?
No, Amir Khan fought Billy Dibb. He fought.
I'm pretty sure Tim Tszyu fought Billy Dibb too, man.
That would be embarrassing.
Rob, can you quickly look up Tim Tszyu's record?
Yes.
Do you need me to spell Tszyu? Because it starts with a T, not a Z.
Tzoo, right?
TSZY. Oh,
hang on.
I got what you did there. It's been a long show, man.
I got him. He
fucking
Jack
asshole.
Burbica and before that he fought Dwight Ritchie.
You're cutting out there, Gary. Say it again.
Okay, he just fought Jack Brubaker, Dwight Ritchie. No, he doesn't have any names on his resume. I thought he had one veteran name. He doesn't, though. He's got nothing on his resume.
Was he supposed to fight someone and it was canceled?
I don't know. This resume is whack.
It's Australian
He's
boxing.
Top rank, right?
Australian regional boxing is worse than like Mexican regional boxing. Just be honest. In terms of padding records, it's awful. But guys, any other thoughts you want to get to fights this weekend?
Get to the fights.
Who do y'all got in that fight, though? You got Horn?
Yeah, I guess.
It's back down at 154, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might play into Tszyu's favor.
I mean, I'll be honest. Jeff Horn's got beat up by a stripper twice, and he barely survived the second fight. So, like, I don't know. I don't know about Jeff Horn in 2020. Just being honest.
But shout out to him. He put a glove up for auction to raise money for the bushfires in Australia. So,
yes.
Shout out to him.
Did you see that Jeff Bezos, the fucking bum at Amazon that pays $0 in taxes, gave like $690,000 worth and like a donation for the bushfires, but the fucking stripper who did like the naked videos that she sent for like $10 raised over $100,000 more than him.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, tennis players are choking whilst trying to play.
Was nuts.
Just fucking call it off and give the prize money to the fucking fund. You know, help the just who gives a shit about the Australian Open?
Hey Rob, what color is a tennis ball?
What color is what?
A tennis ball.
Green.
What color is a tennis ball?
Yellow, lime green.
See, yes, 10 people, 5 say green, 5 say yellow. So I just wanted to see what color it was in Rob's part.
You need to get out, man.
Anyways, J-Rock versus Jason Rosario on PBC on Fox. Chris Colbert versus Jarrell Miller also on the card. Kyron Davis on the card. Joey Spence on the card. Vito Manicki on the card. Who else? I think that's about it for notable names. Guys, thoughts on this PBC on Fox card? Gary, I go to you first since you have access to it.
You probably care.
Not so much. I mean, I'm going to watch it because I have to for the show. I can guess. You want me to guess? J-Rock wins a 120 to 108 decision in a really boring fight. Maybe he gets him hurt once or twice. I mean, I'm just... the undercard's better, right? Like, it's a decent undercard.
The co-main event's really good.
The co-main event's really good. It's a good test. And I'm into that fight.
The Chris Colbert, Lil B-Hop versus Jarrell Miller.
You think Lil B-Hop stops him, or you think he goes the distance?
No, it goes the distance. Corrales is tough. I mean, yeah, he got stopped by Machado, but like Machado's a heavy hitter and a pretty big 130-pounder. And I think that also Corrales looked pretty good against Ladarius Miller. Like that was an arguable decision. He might have won, depending how you viewed that fight.
I think I had Corrales winning, but Corrales gets caught
And plus, he's like that guy because he flies around so much. He's so erratic with his movement. When he gets hit, he reacts in such a bad way, just from a physical perspective. He's off balance, so he just physically looks like he gets hit with shots, and it looks like they're devastating shots all the time. Back to you, Gary.
I think Colbert stops him late. I think for a while, I think Corrales is in the fight, like 4 or 5 rounds in. We have a pretty even tactical fight. But he always like gets wild and gets caught with stuff. So I'm gonna pick Colbert. Colbert's a much better prospect than Ladarius Miller. Miller's a good prospect.
Yes.
So I'm gonna take Colbert, but I think this is a good test and it's a good gauge for Colbert. If Colbert blows him out, which I'm not expecting, Colbert might be one of the premier prospects in the sport. Like he might be one of those guys if he passes this thing with flying colors.
If he beats, like you said, with flying colors, I'm picking him against every 130-pounder. Like even Miguel Burchell, I'm picking him against everyone then. Tevin Farmer, Oscar Valdez, like Leo Santa Cruz. I'm picking him against the field.
Who's on the PBC side at 130?
Leo Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz, right. And then maybe Russell Jr. in the near future.
Yep. That'd be a great fight. I would love that fight. Fantastic. That's not the fight that Gary Russell wants, but I would love that fight. Moving on, Rob, I know you really don't have a lot of thoughts on this card. Do you have any thoughts?
I'll check Box Nation / Premier Sports or whatever it is now and see if we've got it. I'll be interested in just seeing, J-Bot back out, but yeah.
I wonder how good he looks coming from that fight with Jarrett Hurd, because that was such a arguably career-defining performance in a way, and a career-best performance. I want to see if he can really style on Rosario. You know what I mean? Because if he doesn't, it's more of a sign of that being a flash in the pan, which is a little bit upsetting. But I don't think we're going to see that. I'll be honest. I could see a finish here. I could see J-Rock getting a late stoppage from just accumulation. I could see that, absolutely.
I think it's like I don't think J-Rock's as good as he looked in his last fight, but like no one is. Like he dominated Hearn. He probably went 9 rounds and dropped Hearn in that fight. Like that was really good. Like you could say maybe if they have a rematch, he still wins, but I don't think he's going to dominate him again. I think that was a career best performance. But he might be, a top 3 guy in the division perennially for years to come. I mean, we're going to find out.
Agreed. Next card of the weekend on ESPN. Weird because on BoxRec it's being reported as ESPN Plus. On ESPN.com, it's being reported as ESPN. So, wondering why the disparity between where this card's even at. Curious to see where it ends up. I'm leaning ESPN's report, is right about their own cards, but hey, it's ESPN. It's Dan Rayfield making those schedules, so who knows? But Eddie Alvarez fighting Michael Seals, Felix Verdejo on the undercard, Christopher Diaz on the undercard as well, Jonathan Guzman on the undercard, and that's about it. All those undercard fighters largely in with tune-ups or showcases. Alvarez in here with obviously a comeback fight with Michael Seals, who's a decent, I don't know, do you call him a prospect after a couple losses? Yeah, sort of. I mean, a top 25-ish sort of guy, top 30-ish guy who's looking pretty good. Had a good knockout in his last fight. Should be a fun fight, but Alvarez should win this one, and all of the ASIs on the undercard should win in pretty spectacular fashion as well. Guys, thoughts on this ESPN card?
And I just looked this up today when I was looking at the fights. Michael Seals is 37 years old.
Is he that old? Oh, my God.
I had no idea. I was like, maybe 30? He's 37.
Well, yeah, not a prospect. I thought he was like 32. Shit.
That's what I thought. I had to look at it like 3 times. Like, is he really 37? Yeah, he is. It's a good test. I want to see how good Alvarez looks, right? Like, this is... Do you think Alvarez can get back to a world championship level at 175? And if he can dominate a guy like Michael Seals, I think he's back. He's back. Like, but I want to see him dominate. I don't want to see him eke out a decision. I don't want to see Seals win. I want to see him, if he doesn't stop him, which he should stop him, I want to see him dominate Michael Seals.
It's weird because that rematch with Kovalev was so odd, right? Because the fight before the first fight, that was a career best performance. Sort of speaking of like the J-Rock Hearn situation, that was his Williams-Hearn situation. That was that fight for Eddie Alvarez, where he looked fantastic, dominated Kovalev, knocked him out, and then Kovalev came back and had his probably career best performance after that. It's so hard to tell. I think if he comes back and he looks good, then he's a live opponent against all the top guys except for maybe Beterbiev. But even then, I think Beterbiev can be rocked, it can be hurt. So Alvarez is a sharp and heavy hitter. It's possible. Alvarez, to me, there's issues of game planning there. Like, I don't see that well-crafted game plan at the top level that I see in other guys. And I think you need to see that from Alvarez. And you're not going to see that in this fight, obviously, because Michael Seals doesn't need a game plan for Michael Seals, in my opinion. But for those top guys like Vazjic, Beterbiev, Bivol, I mean, who else would we really name the top? Canelo, I mean, to a degree, right?
You could do a rematch with Pascal because that fight, he got the decision over Pascal. That was really, really close. Okay, we could do that again.
I love that fight. It would be interesting, obviously, because it's PBC and ESPN.
Yeah.
I don't know if that one happens.
Sorry,
briefly, I would expect
about Alvarez, like next, maybe.
What was that?
If he comes through this.
So I didn't hear the first part.
You're talking about Eddie Alvarez,
Yes.
like going forward. I believe they mentioned the winner of this fight will fight Joe Smith Jr.
I was just about to mention Joe Smith Jr. That's in-house fight. One that would make sense.
That's a good fight.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'll be honest, if you lose Gilberto Ramirez for that vacant title fight, if I'm Bob Arum, who is close with the WBO, I would wiggle my way in there with a Joe Smith Jr. Eddie Alvarez vacant title fight and try to apply that for the WBO vacant title fight. instead of a Gilberto Ramirez fight.
Did you see Callum Smith say if he doesn't get the Canelo fight, he'll fight Gilberto Ramirez?
Oh, so you think Gilberto's going to Matchroom DAZN?
Possibly. And does he come down to 168, or does Callum Smith go up to 175?
I think he goes up. I think Callum Smith doesn't get the Canelo fight. I think he moves up. Because it's not like he's going to work his way towards unification with Benavidez or Plant. I don't see that happening. And Bivol's at 175 with Matchroom DAZN. They have amateur beef. That one just makes the most sense. I think it's a Canelo fight or a Bivol fight, most likely, if I'm being honest, with maybe a tune-up as a divisional debut, so to speak.
But I wanted to ask, you guys think that the winner of this versus Joe Smith is going to be for the vacant WBO?
It's possible. It's possible.
Now I want Michael Seals to win because I want Joe Smith to be a world champ. And he beat Michael Seals. So now I'm rooting for Michael Seals.
Also, there's a Showbox card in Iowa. Woohoo. With on Friday with Shoshin Ergashev versus Adrian Estrella, Vladimir Shishkin versus Alyssis Serra, and that's about it for people that I know. Guys, any other thoughts on the fights this weekend? I'm not looking at you, so you have to say something, guys.
No, I mean, Colbert versus the Chris Colbert fight is the best fight of the weekend. I mean, that's the fight I'm looking forward to the most.
Oh, easily, without a doubt.
Fight, yeah.
But for being honest, the Conor McGregor fight in UFC pay-per-view is probably going to dominate the headline, and all combat sports casual fans will be paying attention to that and not these fights. Probably going to see another probably bad ratings weekend for boxing like last weekend, because last weekend's ratings were really bad. I think the lowest in Top Rank's deal with ESPN, right, Rob?
Yeah, I believe that was.
I think it was the lowest for their tenure with ESPN. And the Claressa Shields fight was a notable dip from her last fight with Christina Hammer. Not surprising, but it was a dip and it was noticeable. But guys, that's it for this show. Hit the like button, share the show, all that fun stuff. Patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. You can find me and Matt Hunter, MCR, on all social media platforms. Rob?
Yeah, hashtag pray for Matt's internet. Fingers crossed tomorrow we'll be all super slick, up and running, and yeah, who knows? But yeah, the boxing year, we started to get some news, bits and pieces falling into place, but yeah, slow start, I guess. But January usually pretty slim, but obviously as the days tick by, we're getting closer to Jake Paul versus Gibb. So there you go, something to look forward to. I always say this shit for Matt's benefit.
You're dead to me.
Organize everyone.
You're dead to me, Rob. You're dead to me.
But yeah, hit the thumbs up, share the show. UK Rob Instagram and Twitter. UK Rob MCR Instagram and Twitter. Sorry.
Gary.
It's a decent. Well, I'm interested in the Colbert fight. That's where my mind is on this weekend. It's a good show, guys. I don't know why Rob has to antagonize everyone. I'm gonna get a text, at 6:00 in the morning my time on how Hector Tanahara is the worst fighter and human being in the world. I just
Where the lies, Gary?
Human being.
Where the lies?
Why, Rob? Why do we have to do this?
Because I'm awake and I know you're going to bed or you're asleep, so it's fun for me.
Find me on all forms of social media. 3D Boxing blog. From Texas to the world. Thank you and God bless.
Before we jump, did you guys hear about this is a celebrity, not celebrity fight, like a charity fight? The Chavez Sr. versus Jorge Arce fight. Have you guys the rematch? They're rematching apparently. Boxing just put out an article about this, saying Chavez Sr. versus Jorge Arce rematch pushed back to March 7th, and it's senior, not junior. Anyways, that's weird. I watch that be on DAZN. Just saying, it's the best boxing they can get.
Shout out to WBC for the article they just put out on Jimenez.
I love it. I'm not a huge supporter of the sanctioning bodies, but at least they're backing their fighters. I love that.
Yeah. So all the people wondering, she had a daughter when she was 21 and things like that. So yeah, go give it a read.
Fuck, guys, just like don't be an idiot. Like there's fights on YouTube you can find of her being a heavyweight, 10 years ago. I mean, this isn't. People are stupid. People are just spiteful, hateful beings.
I'm sorry she doesn't look how you want her to look.
Weird people out there, Rob. But anyways, guys, have a great day, great evening, great night, wherever you are in the world. Peace.